Hey! Welcome back to my show. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers. I'm saying we as if there's more than just one of me sitting here alone, editing late into the night and crying. But hopefully you think of this as a collective. Thank you. If you're new here, I'm sorry that you have to listen to that. I promise I'm going to talk about this really cool azelaic acid product that I found. But before I do that, I want to encourage you to subscribe if you like skincare. Give the video a thumbs up and turn on the notification bell so that you don't miss my skincare videos. I don't know why I'm pointing at you right now. Subscribe to me. Follow me on Instagram at Rotten Skin. Thanks. Let's talk about azelaic acid because it's the new kid on the block. Okay, not really. It's been around for a while. Azelaic acid is really something to talk about. Be right back. You know, some people are predicting it's going to be the next hottest ingredient and that it's the most underrated ingredient out there. I really like it, but I'm not going to go that far. I mean, it does really great things when it comes to acne, but there's a threshold and it can only do so much. So don't expect it to fix all of your problems. But if you have some specific problems, it could possibly be even more beneficial than some of the more traditional options. So in this video, I'm going to talk about what azelaic acid is. I'm going to reveal this mystery 20% azelaic acid product that I found that does not require a prescription. And then I'll briefly talk about how it helped me, and then I'll even do a demo for you. So if you already are a skincare guru and you know all about it, just skip to this time. So azelaic acid is a naturally occurring dicarboxylic acid that lives on our skin. It's produced by a yeast that is found on our skin called the Malazepam furfur, and I did not make up that name. Azelaic acid can also be found naturally in grains like rye and barley, and it has some really great properties. It's antimicrobial, it's anti-inflammatory, and has some antioxidant capabilities. It's also unique because it can inhibit the overproduction of melanin and melanocytes by inhibiting the enzyme tyrosinase, which is responsible for generating some of those pigments and is how people end up with hyperpigmentation marks like me. So that's why azelaic acid was a particular interest to me, because I had recently experienced a lot more breakouts than I ever have in the past. And I was looking for a more sustainable solution that could also target some of these pigmenting effects of breaking out. Azelaic acid is best for people with mild to moderate acne. It's a comediolytic, meaning that it can unclog pores. However, it's not known to be as effective at doing this as, say, something like a BHA or tretinoin. It plays well with others and can even possibly work better along with others, like, say, tretinoin. It's also known to be very well tolerated in people, more so than benzoyl peroxide or tretinoin, making it a really safe option. That's why it totally baffles me why it's placed under lock and key. Other countries outside of the US sell this over the counter, but the US, of course, doesn't trust its citizens to make good skincare decisions. So I already kind of alluded to this, but back in early June, I started getting irregular breakouts in this region of my, this region of my face that sits right underneath where my mask sits. And I started getting really deep-seated, borderline cystic acne that turned into pustules and lasted quite a long time. So at that time, all I had on hand was salicylic acid and benzoyl peroxide, so I started using both of them while still being on tretinoin. As the breakouts faded, the hyperpigmentation really started to set in, and I was left with these dark marks on my skin. So I kind of let tretinoin do its thing for the next month to see what it could accomplish, but unfortunately I was still left with a pretty severe post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation mark. Once I started breaking out even further, I decided to look for an azelaic acid cream. So of course the top two over-the-counter azelaic acid solutions that people talk about are the ordinary azelaic acid suspension, as well as the Paula's Choice azelaic acid booster, which also has salicylic acid and licorice root extract, I believe. The Paula's Choice definitely seemed promising. It had really great reviews. I know other people have mentioned that it has worked wonders on them. However, it's extremely expensive for how much you're getting. Now, the ordinary definitely came at a good price point. However, I do recall Dr. Dre at one point saying there might be something wrong with their formulation. To what extent that's true, I'm not sure, but it did deter me from actually using that, to be honest. And in addition to this, studies that have looked at azelaic acid applied topically have used concentrations of 15 to 20%. The only things I was able to find were 10% or under. I really just wanted azelaic acid. I didn't want everything else. I already have salicylic acid. I just want azelaic acid. I don't know. I kind of put that search behind me and I was like, maybe I'll just keep letting tretinoin do its thing. I decided to look one more time and I came across this other product, Melazepam. So if you're like me, you're like, what is that ugly bottle doing? I looked through the reviews, I looked through the ingredients, it looked legit, and in the reviews people were saying this is a 20% azelaic acid cream that you can buy without a prescription. That seemed very suspicious to me. So I looked through the questions and answers section, and one seller actually did confirm that it was a 20% solution. Other people on Reddit, which I know is not a reputable source, but still fun to check, cited the Melazepam solution as a 20% product. Odd that the listing does not actually mention its concentration, but I feel fairly confident that this is a 20% solution. Azelaic acid is the second ingredient on here. In addition, it has some fatty alcohols, mineral oil as a moisturizer, and safflower seed oil as an emollient. It's a fairly basic solution and has been formulated to be able to use it on its own, which is great. So I ordered it. I ordered the 2-pack on Amazon. It was sold and shipped by Amazon, and that made me feel a little better about purchasing it because it is kind of like an unknown, bespoke even product. Something shipped and sold by Amazon, in my mind, is comparable to going and buying something from CVS. It's like a large retailer, and so they have a vested interest in not selling counterfeit products, even though some third parties on their site do. Not that third parties are bad, it's just that you have to look at these third parties. Look at their reviews especially. So anyway, I bought the 2-pack. I thought I'd just jump right in. Oh my God, I'm so sorry, that was disgusting. And I started applying it immediately in mid-July. So I've been using it for 1.5 months now, and I can confidently say that it's helped my acne in a way that no other product has been able to. Like I said, it's antimicrobial, meaning that it directly targets the acne-causing bacteria that live and thrive in your pores. It can also help with skin cell proliferation that people with clogged pores often suffer from. That, coupled with it being anti-inflammatory and more easily tolerated in people, I think really made all the difference for me and my skin. So of course you could just go and get this from a dermatologist if you have access to one. I'm no longer on speaking terms with mine. So that's why I was really happy to find this 20% solution without having to go through all the red tape of acquiring it, which in my mind is absolutely ludicrous. I mean, how can you have adapalene sold over the counter and not Azelaic or Finacea? I mean, it's incontrovertible that they're less risky for the average consumer, but whatever. Loopholes. So here's what I'll tell you about this though, before you go out and buy it. By the way, I will link the one I purchased below. Reviewers have noted that it has a somewhat gritty consistency, and I can confirm it sort of does when you first get it out of the tube. However, when you apply it on the skin, it doesn't feel like you're doing any kind of physical exfoliation. I try to just be very gentle with applying it, but it does not have like an overtly gritty consistency. What I found with this tube that I've been using is that once I spread it on my face, it leaves like some odd crystal structures on the skin. I don't know enough about chemistry to be able to tell you what that is and what that means, but it is something that I was concerned about at first. I was trying to see if any other reviewers had noted this, and only one other person did. It seems relatively harmless. I've examined it more closely and have determined it's not like a hard structure that is going to like tear your skin, but it is still a little peculiar to me. It could just be a fluke with my product. Like I said, it has produced some really fantastic results for me, so I'm going to continue using it. The other thing about azelaic acid is that it can be used up to 4 times a day, especially if you're using it as a spot treatment. If you're just using it as a general cream, probably don't exceed 1 or 2 times a day, but I'll show you how I use it. If I have an active breakout, I will use it more throughout the day just to try to control it and get ahead of it. If I don't, I'm just using it as a preventative measure to ensure that I don't have any future breakouts. And I generally only apply it to the top portion of my face because that's where I break out. In the mornings, sometimes I'll just apply a thin layer over the entire upper portion of my face. I don't use it on my eyes, just I don't break out there. I do use my tretinoin there, which I have talked about in my last tretinoin update video. And then at night, if I have any active breakouts or dark marks, I'll just make sure to try to concentrate some of the cream in those areas, but generally I won't apply it to the rest of my face at nighttime. So just to give you an idea, I'll apply it now. So you only want like a fingertip length if you're going to apply it to your whole face. Found my mirror, by the way. It's been like 6 months. No, it hasn't. It's been like 3. But still, it's really good at hiding. Basically, I'll just go in and apply it evenly. It does kind of have a gritty texture. Less is more. Some common side effects can be itching or stinging, which I definitely experienced, especially when I was using at night after showering when my skin was damp. Thus, the azelaic acid penetrated more deeply, and I definitely felt some itching, and it was kind of uncomfortable. Symptoms can last up to 4 weeks, so perseverance is key. It can take between 1 and 2 months to see any improvement in acne, with a maximal outcome occurring after about 4 months. So of course I've been using it for 6 weeks and have already noticed a decline in the number of breakouts that I experienced. Even before the whole mask situation, I would frequently break out along the cheekbone area. I've only had like 1 of those breakouts in the last couple of months, which is a lot less than what it was before. And in terms of the hyperpigmentation, I've noticed that the quicker that you can act by applying something like azelaic acid to a new breakout, the less inflamed it's going to get, and therefore the less pigmentation it's going to produce. Inflammatory acne really triggers the melanocytes to produce more pigment, and so that's why getting ahead of it and being proactive is key. I've definitely noticed a reduction in my pigmented marks. I've noticed that when I had a new breakout and applied the azelaic acid immediately, the pigmenting effect was very short-lived, but in some of these ones that these breakouts that lingered for a couple of weeks, I'm still dealing with the after effect of that pigment. And remember that these pigmented marks can stay with you for up to 2 years sometimes. The fact that I've already seen a pretty significant reduction in that color is really impressive, and I think that's really attributable to the azelaic acid because I was using the tretinoin for quite a long time before starting the azelaic acid. It's possible that the two are working well together. A property of azelaic acid is that using it alongside other actives can actually improve its benefits. So I use a combination of azelaic acid, tretinoin, and niacinamide, and I don't use salicylic acid anymore, but I might start incorporating it again possibly, especially to deal with my blackheads on my nose, because that's still definitely an issue for me that I don't think that any of my current actives will solve on their own. So yeah, hopefully that was like helpful and stuff, and I hope that you are subscribed. I have so many fun videos planned. I do want to make an about me video, but I don't know if it's going to happen now or maybe when I reach 2,500 subscribers. I just want to do it at a time where I feel like people care enough, and I think that I'm still maybe in the discovery phase of people just finding my channel to like really learn about these topics or like see product reviews and don't really care who I am, which is fine. Like, I'm not hurt or anything. yeah, anyway, follow me on Instagram because once I do that video, I'm going to ask for your questions on there. So make sure to follow me there. Make sure that you give the video a thumbs up, subscribe with notifications turned on. And sorry that was such an aggressive pitch, for lack of a better word, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Thank you for watching. Again, leaving this product in the description below. Let me know if you're gonna try it. Leave me a comment. Love reading your comments. And I don't know where this sudden burst of energy came from and why it wasn't active at the beginning of this video where it would have been much more meaningful. But thank you so much for being here. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.